So Cyberpunk went on sale, 50% off. You can get Cyberpunk at the time of recording for $30 on Steam. And with that massive price cut came a new influx of players. Cyberpunk is hitting some highs that it hasn't seen since launch on the Steam player charts. And a lot of these new players have been realizing that what they were told initially about the quality of the game may have been exaggerated. Cyberpunk is now very positive through Steam reviews. I've been a defender of the game since I first actually gave it a chance back in May, and have been making numerous reports about how to improve your own experience through modding. But CD Projekt themselves has been improving the experience on their end, and are about to ship the biggest patch that the game has ever seen. Two sources of information became available to the public. The president of CD Projekt gave an interview with a Polish news site, and the quarterly investor meeting took place on November 29th, 2021. Between those two sources, some new information was gathered. Number one, Witcher 4 is gaining steam in its development. At the current time, all development resource allocation is being earmarked as experimental. Cyberpunk 2077 had the same kind of experimental timeline back in 2013. The executives have assured the investors that the next-gen patches of The Witcher 3 and Cyberpunk are on track. These next-gen patches are very much being treated as relaunches for those games. The Witcher 3 version not being as important of a relaunch, but still trying to capitalize on the recent popularity boom thanks to the Netflix series. The Witcher Next Gen is taking advantage of the architecture of the next-generation consoles, allowing for things like ray tracing, SSD optimization, and some core feature changes, along with the new DLC we can expect that ties Witcher 3 into said Netflix series. The relaunch for Cyberpunk 2077 is obviously significantly more important, and in fact, the next-gen patch is going to be coinciding a patch 1.5. We are currently on patch 1.31, and the move to 1.5 has nothing to do with internals and has everything to do with naming. 1.5, according to the executives, is a rounded number that shows that this is a massive leap forward. Some conversations I've had with internal development staff at CD Projekt Red have indicated that 1.5 is indeed the largest patch that the game has seen, and is separate from the next generation edition. The next generation patch truly is a relaunch, and 1.5 is polishing up the gameplay experience to bring it more in line with what was originally promised. But apparently CD Projekt is open to the idea of adding new choices within the already cemented base story. And aside from that, Expansion 1 is heavily in development for Cyberpunk 2077. The money set aside for upkeep and updating Cyberpunk 2077 post-launch is incredibly high, and is the largest chunk of allocated resources for development at current time. But quarter over quarter, that amount of money is slowly lowering to put more into the expansions. One is in development, but at least two will be released over the next few years. The good sentiment surrounding Cyberpunk 2077 following this new sale and following all of these updates has allowed CD Projekt Red to direct the executives. The delay in the next generation patch was done because the baseline employees demanded it. Multiplayer is definitely something that they are going to be doing. We effectively got full confirmation that yes, Cyberpunk Online is back in development. However, how they roll it out will be piecemeal. They'll put out small bits and pieces of it at first and learn what to do based on what players want. At the current time, two things could end up happening, and two things could be that piecemeal content. For one, heists are a well-known concept within Cyberpunk Online through data mining. Exactly how far these heists go is unknown, but it is a feature of the multiplayer framework. Number two is deathmatch, a general multiplayer deathmatch/team deathmatch game mode that has some framework already developed in the game proper and has been found through data mining. Overall, it seems like CD Projekt Red's goal with Cyberpunk Online is to create a Grand Theft Auto Online experience without nickel and diming the end user, not even close to as much as Rockstar currently does, putting the bulk of the good content on display and not demanding players grind out the baseline game mechanics just to experience it. There are two AAA projects already in development, as we've stated, a new Witcher game and the expansions to Cyberpunk 2077. However, there is another game in development. CD Projekt recently acquired the Molasses Flood, a Boston-based game studio most known for their recent release Drake Hollow. This studio is working on two projects. One was announced back in E3 2019, and CD Projekt at the current time seems to have nothing to do with, or at least nothing in terms of directing them. And number two is a game that takes place in one of their franchises. At current time, the rumor that sticks around this concept is trying to create a Gwent-like experience for the Cyberpunk franchise. Gwent, a highly praised mobile game, is something that you can experience on any platform and cross-play between them. Cyberpunk does not have a multiplayer experience of the same caliber, and unfortunately, Cyberpunk does not have something built into the game that could translate as well as Gwent did. So exactly where they end up going with this is unknown, but the current rumor is that the Molasses Flood is in early pre-production phases of a multi-platform Cyberpunk mobile-esque experience, and according to the investor meeting, GOG is not making the profits they've expected, and so massive changes to the corporate structure of GOG are going to be incoming. Remember, CD Projekt owns GOG, and they are going to be focusing on higher profile DRM-free releases of older titles, the way that they used to do. They are no longer having GOG help out with Gwent, and now since Gwent has recently hit 5 years old, a portion of the Gwent team has been transferred over to work on other CD Projekt Red things, such as the Witcher team or the Cyberpunk team. If you are new to Cyberpunk, because of the recent sales, I am currently putting together a mod list for beginners. I'm well known for building mod lists for Cyberpunk 2077. However, these are built mostly for players that are familiar with the mechanics. These make the game significantly more intense, significantly more strategy-based, and significantly harder. I now am putting together a list of mods specifically to improve the vanilla experience for beginners. So, if you are new to Cyberpunk 2077 and you're enjoying your time, please realize the modding scene for this game is insane. So much so that CD Projekt has hired modders to create tools and bug fixes for the game specifically to support this mod base. Also, this hat and this sweater is on my merch store. This is a prototype. It should have a Tyler McVicker logo right there. And this is also one of my ugly Christmas sweaters. We also have a ugly Steam-esque green Steam Christmas sweater on sale, limited time for the month of December. My crowd-made merch store down in the description below. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you have a good day. I hope you have a good month. I hope you have a good life. I'm Tyler McVicker. Adios.